Why is it that the people who have never met you, stepped into your world, never stood close enough to hear the truth in your voice or in your songs or in anything that you put your fingerprint on, are always the ones most eager to tell your story for you? Why do strangers feel qualified to define a life they've never lived? Why does it always sound like their story has more to do with their fear than with your reality? Well, that's what we're doing here tonight, folks. And yes, this is a little late one, but we are going to talk about it nonetheless. So welcome back to Ivory's After Dark, where we find the answers together. I'm inviting you to pull up a chair, pour something honest, and welcome to the place where the lights are low, the notes are real, and the truth lives somewhere between these keys. I am your host, Jack Rivers, and depending on who you ask this week, I am either a wild musician, a broken dreamer, some sort of knockoff on something, a magnet for groupies, a man who should have had his lights shut off months ago. Funny thing is every one of those descriptions came from people who's never been to one show, never shook my hand, never saw me haul gear through a Michigan winter, ice, sleet, rain, 90 degrees, never stood close enough to hear the truth behind what I actually do. It's amazing, isn't it? That's right, old Jackie Boy's been reading his fair share of hate mail, but the people farthest away from you always swear they see it the clearest, right? But here's the thing. You're always the villain in some story. I am in mine. Some folks invent the villain. They invent the cartoon. They invent the person or persona they pass around in late night messages because they needed to hear or tell a story that made them feel important. But what I really am, I'm a working musician, a father, a provider, a man who's carried his gear in ice storms and 90-degree weather and prayed the gas light in my car wasn't lying. And I still showed up to play my heart out because that's what honest people do. So tonight, let's talk about that lens, the one people love to look through when they don't know or when they don't want to look at themselves. We're talking stereotypes. We're talking projections. We're talking about the biography that strangers write for you before they even know who you really are. We're going there. I'm pouring something really honest tonight. You see, people love a shortcut. They love a stereotype. They love a quick little summary that saves them from thinking. You say, musician, oh, I know what he's about, or they're about. Well, you don't. You know the movie version. You know the rumor version. You know the silver screen Hollywood lie that they sell. You know the gossip about your cousin's friend's aunt whispered at 11:45 p.m. But you don't know the man. You don't know the person. Stereotypes aren't mirrors. They're confessions. They tell you more about the storyteller than the actual subject. So, since I'm a musician, we're going to talk about musicians, right? People swear musicians are living in some reckless, wild fantasy life, backstage chaos and groupies everywhere and sins in every corner. And let me tell you the truth. Most musicians I know aren't backstage living wild. They're backstage icing their knee, stretching their back. They're drinking bottled water like it's holy, praying the monitor mix works, wondering if their kid finished their homework, right? Sure, I've seen temptation. Sure, we've all succumbed to temptation at one point or another. But you want to know what it really looks like? A folding chair that nobody's claimed, a broken mop bucket, a cold slice of pizza somebody dropped on a snare case. You see, Hollywood lied, folks. If backstage is a sin, it's only because someone didn't mop it. What really goes on backstage? You know, I think I've been to a couple green rooms, okay? Backstage is not Vegas. Backstage is survival. The drummer asking, anybody got a Motrin? The guitar frustrated with his tuner. The bassist saying, my strap is digging into my shoulder and I'm too old for this. People calling home, checking in. Everything good? Kids okay? Need anything before I drive back? Backstage isn't always a party. It's a break room for tired souls trying to do something beautiful. So why do people judge that? See, musicians are easy targets. We're visible. We're loud. We're in the lights. You know, we're the dream some people gave up on. And nothing triggers judgment like seeing someone live the life you were too scared to chase. So, people project. They assume. They rewrite your character to fit their comfort zone. Right? Judgment is laziness, wearing a robe, even if it is leopard print. Meow. Now, let's be honest, really honest. You're on the road. You come home exhausted. You walk through the door, and the only thing you hear is what you missed, what went wrong, what wasn't done, how your absence hurt. Now, you'll get that on a 40-hour-a-week, 50, 60-hour-a-week job anyways. You're out there breaking your back, digging ditches. I've done that. Come home, you're still missing out. You're giving all you have, but the disconnect keeps widening. That's not a musician problem. That's a human problem. And I don't care what hat you wear when you walk out the door to provide for your family. Temptation doesn't show up because you're weak. It can show up because you're lonely, you're angry, you're frustrated. It can show up because you're tired. It can show up because you want someone to see you. See, you make a mistake of judging the person on the road that you've never driven. But you see, character matters, absolutely. But circumstances will test a man's character far harder than comfort ever will. You cannot judge someone's choices from a couch that never moved. Humans crack under pressure. Humans bend when the heat is on and they feel disconnected. Humans break when they're unloved. Understanding is wisdom. Judgment is strictly ego. So, you got to be careful. Because here's the funny thing about judging people, or let's just say judging musicians. Life pays attention. You mock the man on the road, life will hand you a journey. You mock the man that's being tempted, life will test your heart. You mock that man struggling, life will find your crack. God has a sense of humor. He'll put you in the very shoes you swore you'd never walk in. You want to hear him laugh? Announce your plans. He will laugh. And you'll realize it wasn't so simple after all. No, it's not. Sometimes the stereotypes don't come from strangers. They come from the people that should know you best. People who've never had a Michigan blackout in a windstorm will swear your lights were off because you're irresponsible. People who've never seen you load gear or do this or do that will swear you're lazy and that you don't work. People who never read your heart will swear they know your character. The man with the experience is never at the mercy of a man with an argument. You know your own heart, you know your truth, your work, your grind, you know your sacrifice, you know you show up. And the stereotype never matched the person, never matched the man or the woman. Isn't it funny that always it's the spectators that can tell people how to run the plays and they're never on the field? The villain musician they talk about, he doesn't exist. He's a cardboard cutout, a rumor puppet, fictional character, built by insecurity and passed along like a campfire story. You can't live your life trying to correct someone else's fantasies. You're not their fiction. You're your reality. That's why you can't get tied up in the comment section and emails and all this other hate. People just, they're good at it. Misery loves company. Right? So here's the story. Musicians love deeply. They feel fully. They carry weight silently and give more than the world ever sees. We're not stereotypes, folks. We're souls. We're stories. We're sacrifices. We're fathers. We're providers, workers, dreamers, broken people, doing beautiful things with the little that we have. So don't let strangers write your biography. People will always invent a version of you that fits their comfort. Let them talk. Because your experience will outlive their fiction every single time. Every single time. You just got to keep on doing it every day. So folks, thank you for leaning in tonight, for sitting with the truth, for listening instead of judging. This has been Ivory's After Dark, and the night is far from over. Coming up, we're going to dig into this a little bit more deeply and darkly, because as dangerous as the lies that can be when strangers invent your stories, there's something far worse. Something far worse. It's the lies that you whisper to yourself.